Hello everyone and welcome to the auditorium. This is Jesse and I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is a little bit of a special different video. I was reached out to personally by the developers of Focus Entertainment who just made Plague Tale Requiem, which just came out. And Nicholas over there sent me this concert, this kind of private concert, and because they wanted to hear like my opinion on it, which I think was really cool. And just full transparency, this is not sponsored, but they did in fact give me a copy of the game, which I'm so busy, who knows if I'll ever get to check it out. But speaking of which, it was just nominated for Game of the Year and Best Music Score, so that's something. A couple little notes I want to put out here. This was composed by Oliver Dervier, and this was a private concert in Paris. I don't know if I've done anything from this composer. I don't know any of the song names. I don't know if they're going to show up on the screen. It's a 42-minute concert, so I'm just going to kind of just enjoy it. And I don't know if there's going to be spoilers. I see there's a screen back there, so just maybe a warning. So I'm just kind of going to go with the flow as normal. Just press play and see what happens. They said I can do the whole video or I can do some stuff. Who knows? I'm just going to enjoy it. But thank you a lot to Focus Entertainment for reaching out and valuing my opinion. So this is it. This is a Plague Tale Requiem OST Symphonic Orchestra from Paris. Let's go. Quality looks amazing. Probably not going to be talking a whole lot during this. I just kind of want to enjoy this experience. That looks serious. I love it. He's in that moment. Wow, that male choir is booming. Both of them. Quality is insane. Ooh. I wonder if they're gonna be seamlessly transitioning from song to song, or if there'll be some stopping points. This is yeah. There's people in attendance. I can just imagine the reverberation of that room and how powerful everyone sounds. Because it doesn't look that big, right? It looks kind of like a hall, so it's just bouncing off the walls. Ooh. Look at the intensity of everybody. Everyone is performing. Nice. This camera quality is amazing. I don't know what kind of loot that is, but I'm guessing this might be like the second song. Feels like we're in a chase or running sequence or something. Oh, we do have footage. They have a microphone right by the strings. Right on the bridge, that's cool. I'm seeing a lot of shots I've never seen before. I've seen orchestral shots like this, and they're far away, but I've never seen like... What was that? Instrument? I've never seen it before. I need to see that again. Don't know who the conductor is, but my safe assumption is like Oliver. Video game music, by the way. I don't know what that is. Look at that passion. I never knew the bow was so close to the bridge piece. Look at that, it's like right on the wood. This guy is... Bravo. must be so hard to not clap. Ooh, you could feel the tension in the air. Everyone wants to clap, but you know they told them to shh. Wow. Okay, song 3 now, I guess? Wow, okay. I was only gonna like kind of skim through it, but kind of captivated. It's a different world seeing these performers doing their thing. I like that. It's uncomforting, but it's for a reason. That's crazy. He's in harmony with the choir by just making these kind of scratching noises. Oh, this one's... It's like unsettling but very nice at the same time. The audio quality of this, I would never think this would be live. Percussion is just filling the whole room. You can feel it in your chest. Like a little interlude? No, I think it's the same song. What was that? I hope they let him applause at the very end because they've been holding it in. This is the fourth, I believe, now. It's kind of cool not knowing the names of a song for once, you know? Did you see that little smile he gave? That was cheeky. It's kind of nice not knowing this because I'm just free to just think whatever I want. It sounds like a very dynamic soundtrack. I don't know, but it sounds like little splurts of music play here and there as like a storytelling device. That's my impression so far. Look at that instrument she has with the head sculpture on top. Wow. That lady in the background. How many strings I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 strings? Yeah, it's doubled. Yeah, look at that headstock. Oh, you can't see it in the video. Dang. I think this video will be posted somewhere else. You can see the whole thing. I don't know if that was a full song or if that was just like a little ambient intro. Let's just say this is the fifth one. Oh, they put some color in there. Drop the lights. Conducting with just his hands. showing a field on screen. Oh. I don't know if the video is out of sync or what happened. But I'm just gonna let it rock. I know that name of that instrument, I forgot it. It's like in the family of bagpipes, or is it a bagpipe? Okay, so the video is now back in sync. I think. Either way. Oh, the bass is so heavy. Potential boss enemy. Sounds... Oh man, it sounds like so many cultures and places all at once. Their strings are taking a beating. I know the room felt that one. It's so quiet in there, you can hear every little chair squeak. So much tension in the air. All right, I think this is number 7 now. That last one was cool. Big change in mood here in this one. It's like a scenery of a castle or Yeah, I'm not. I think some of the parts in the video are out of sync, which is fine. I'm listening anyways. Those strings really pop out, those choirs. So it seems like they changed the color with whatever the background image is. So this one's blue. Kind of nighttime looking. Gloomy, cold. No percussion, just gliding on these angelic voices. This is, I believe, the 8th in the set. Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like the percussion going like. I was feeling it. Looks like we're on a beach. He's returned. The instrument sounds so unique and cool with all the pocket of air. So in case you're confused, the video is out of sync. So it's not you. This music for a beach setting? Very nice. I'm gonna pause it really quick. I've never really paused videos. I just want to say one thing. The fact that it's it could be an error of why it's desynced. I thought it was me at first, but like at the beginning of the video it was fine. I just want to say that if it is indeed like an error, that's okay, because you know, it is my first reaction. So, and I'm just checking out the music anyways. So it's really not taking away too much from it. But I just wanted to point that out. Like I'm not gonna, you know, like redo it or something. I'm still getting the same feel. I'm just not paying attention as much visually to what's happening. But I think we're on to the 9th track now. So, oh, good timing. Oh no, it's the same setting. Could be the same song. Oof. Those are intense drums. Those are shockingly good drums. I'm like, okay, you got my attention. Sound like firing, like a cannon or something. Very abrupt. Time. Now that song is over. Oh, that just means I paused during a song. Oops. Sorry. But the effect was still the same. Here we go. Some string instrument goodness. 2 string instruments. My attention is gathered. I heard the minor second. Okay, so the instrument is also a lead instrument too. I thought it was just going to be like a rhythm thing. You can hear the difference in size of instruments. This one's very small, so it has that very sharp. And then the lute in the background, boom, 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 boom. Sounds very round and bassy. You can just tell the difference in the size of the wood. It's a beautiful instrument. And the cello's playing this slow. Violin. Or whatever that is. I don't know what that is. But it's so... Man, look at that. That is intimidating. New background. Oh. Little in-between piece. I believe this is now the 10th. I love the neck of that. It's got that flamed look to it. The wood grain is what I'm talking about, on the back of the neck. The keyboard has made its appearance. This person has so much control and expressive playing. All of them do. This one just makes me feel very emotional, sad. Shout out this guy, man. Oh, I think this is the finale. Nominated Best Soundtrack. It's nice to see them smile after that intense performance of just intensity. There's about a minute left. Not sure who that is, but maybe that's the composer? Different conductor? Standing ovation. This is a long round of applause. I'm going to rewind this part. Well, I did it. My first 40-minute concert. Well, that was different. Very different. For one, most of what I do, which is similar, I react to stuff I've never heard or seen. I have heard of the game A Plague Tale. But this just came out. As I'm filming this, it's November 2022, and this sequel just came out. And man, it reminded me of some very cinematic, very movie-like, very dynamic. I felt that the music, like I said, seems kind of to maybe be used as a storytelling device and just is planted very strategically in certain areas, as opposed to maybe like, say, chapter begins and then it plays throughout the whole stage type of thing. I think it's going to be more of like you're just walking around and then all of a sudden you encounter a tree and then one of these start playing. That's why some of them felt like they were like a couple, like 30 seconds to a minute long, and then some were like 5 minutes, something like that. So that's what I mean by dynamic. It feels like a live painting, I guess is the way I can put it. There was times where it reminded me of certain games even. First ones that came to mind were Journey, kind of the same feel, and but more so, surprisingly, specifically, I was gonna say just saying Nier, but in specific, Nier Replicant has this sort of sound And those are two amazing soundtracks, by the way. Huge regard. But this gave me the sort of feeling more on the Near Replicant side, where that game is very dark and gloomy for the most part. This one, I don't know exactly what goes on. I've seen a couple screenshots and I don't know, but it seems to be centered, from what I know, it seems to be centered around these two. Like, I don't know if they're brother and sister, or I don't know if just family or friends, but it seems to be this, you know, youthful journey, I guess. But it's just very dark. Now, when I say dark, I mean like the atmosphere and the overall mood is not very, well, it's not jubilant, you know, it's not like roaring violins, there's not a lot of major keys going on. It's just, it seems like a play just kind of unfolding, and almost like the instruments are speaking their own story, I guess. So that's why I wasn't really minding the whole like video being like out of sync, because regardless, even when I do other videos, I barely pay attention to the footage. But this one was, you know, a treat given straight to me. But even then, my focus is what's coming in my ears and how I'm deciphering it and what settings and what things I get. And this one was kind of nice because what they do well, I've only been to one video game concert ever, and that was Distant Worlds Final Fantasy. And before that, I had never been to any. So I've only gone to one. But from what I've noticed from seeing videos online and stuff, they seem to somehow, not somehow, but they seem to sometimes have like a footage or some kind of backdrop or something of, you know, relevancy. And my guess, since we heard, I'm guessing right around 10 songs, give or take. My guess is that we went through the canonical journey of the game. So from beginning, maybe like the menu, beginning in cinematics, something like that, first stage, into everything, right? So I was trying to follow it along that way. I was trying to see if I can feel the progression of the game going forward. It just makes the most sense, you know, to do that. That's my guess. And I did kind of feel that, especially with the last song, because I'll get to that in a second. I kind of wrote like little things here and there for all of them. I mean, I'll just talk about them. It's just like little notes. But overall, I'm saying right now, overall, everything seems very dynamic and a huge attention to detail and storytelling. Like I couldn't get that like over my head. It was just, and then the fact that, you know, it's been nominated for 2 big prestigious awards, you know, it's like, okay, you know, they're obviously going the extra step to solidify that this is art for them. It's not just a game. Let me see this credits list really quick and mute it. I want to give a proper credit where it's due. I have it muted. So here we got, you can't see it, the screen is kind of cut off. Composer Oliver, I'm probably saying that wrong, Olivier Dervier, conducted by Lodewijk van der Rie. So it was indeed a different conductor. I'm assuming the composer came out at the end right there. Which, by the way, the conductor, man, you know, nothing was used. It was just his hands. For those that don't know, the conductor is the metronome of the orchestra. And if you don't know what a metronome is, basically, if you've ever heard a recording artist hear like a little click, 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 click sound, is to keep us in time, keep us on beat. So the fact that I've always found conductors just fascinating, because these group of musicians, they don't have a click, like they just have a visual cue from someone directly in front of them, and that person is responsible for everyone. everyone's experience, both performers and audience, is dependent on that one person. If they weren't there, how would everyone else like keep time and have the same rhythm? So yeah, it's stuff like that you don't really think about, but then you realize like, okay, wow, that was insane. And there was no breaks. It was just kind of song after song after song. So the rehearsal and practice that took for that performance. So this was performed by the Estonian Philharmonic Chamber Choir. Okay. And then here we go. We have all the names of, I'm assuming this whole concert is going to be uploaded to somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. And then you will be able to see all the names here. So it has the manager, the tenor, the soprano, alto, cello, bass, everyone's here, yeah. So the ones that kind of like stood out to me a little bit were the beginning one. You know, obviously it's my introduction. It was the first thing I heard from Plague Tale ever. That's another interesting thing about this video, is that you're watching someone who has never heard music from this game and then went from hearing nothing to hearing nothing but that for an hour of his life. So it's a unique situation. You know, not many people get put into that scenario. The one thing that kept going through my mind over and over and over was, choirs fascinate me. I wish I could sing, but I think choirs are like a whole different level of talent. That's just like, to me, this just kind of like natural born thing. I'm pretty sure you can learn how to do that. I don't know, this just shows how much I know, but like the fact that like humans can make these noises and have this much breath control and be in harmony with each other within the, you know, scent of a note all together, and then harmonize it with the, like, it's insane to me that can happen. So this is really nice as a performance, because everyone seemed to be like in tune with each other. They were looking at each other. They were kind of going off each other's energy. They seemed like they were all collectively, well, friends, I guess. You know, they spend all this time together. You got to have that chemistry to kind of pull that off. And it seemed like that. You could tell that there were hours and hours and hours of practice was there. And you know, one of them that stood out was you know, the guy playing the cello, the solo cello. I think it was a solo celloist. Guy was just intense and just, you know, and then he all smiles at the end. So let's see what songs kind of like stood out. Well, I don't know any of the song names. I'm just gonna go with what I believe are like song 1, 2, and 3. I wrote this for song 3, I think. And it's, oh, I remember this one. I remember that it was unsettling yet comforting, which is funny because that was kind of the mood I got for most of the soundtrack. But this one had, well, let me talk about that first. I think most of this soundtrack was in this realm of confliction for me, and I think maybe most people too, is it definitely doesn't make me feel happy and content and just, you know, follow my dreams, but it also doesn't make me feel like, you know, the end of the world or anything. It honestly feels like right in the center, and I can't. It's very unique to feel that way, where I'm like, it's clearly very beautiful, well thought out, incredible music, but the moods of it, you know, it's just kind of makes you feel human, because you're like, which one do I feel? Like, I feel like you can choose how you want to feel, and you'll get that. I think if you are in a happy mood and you put yourself in a positive mind state and then decide to hear this, you will hear that, and vice versa. You know, if you're, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, it has this kind of like, whoa, what, you know, what is that? I overwhelmingly just kept thinking, I'm torn on how to feel. And it was just bringing up all these kind of emotions. And one thing that also stood out in this song, or this piece, was again the importance of a conductor. There was a part where it went almost totally silent, and it was really slow and nothing was playing. It was just very little ambience here and there. And then they slowly brought it back, and that just shows you like how important having the conductor there was because how else would you be able to do that? Someone would come in a little early, someone would, but it was perfect. Which, by the way, I should segue that the recording for this was phenomenal. When you hear a record or any, album, whatever, it's always, for the most part, unless it's otherwise stated, individually tracked. So this performer records. This was, everyone had mics, live performance. That's why, of course, the applause was held back, but also it just sounded amazing. That was one live take, one continuous shot. The fourth one, I wrote that it was kind of like an interlude. It seemed like it was like very short. And like I said, I think that just is going to come down to the soundtrack being dynamic. I am going to assume that it is a dynamic soundtrack based on that. There wasn't a lot of... and the reason I'm saying that is because when you think typical VGM, you think of, a stage, a character, or a setting, I guess it goes to stage. But also, some of them have these kind of traditional song structures where it's like an intro, a verse, chorus, verse, solo, chorus, outro type thing. These felt more like just, expressive pieces, which is funny because I can actually relate to this quite a bit. The way I write music is very similar to this. Of course, I dabble in the traditional songwriting too, but I also just kind of like having these sort of songs that just layer and layer and layer and then just move forward as opposed to kind of like coming back to something. And so I felt that a lot with this one. I didn't hear too many instances where I'm like, oh, I recognize that motif or that melody from before. It just seemed like it was just kind of all new sounds coming, and it was like I was eager to see what was next. And the fifth one, I wrote that it sounded like kind of a cathedral and very church-like, which is, I think, subconsciously just the image of the venue. But because they had a different, I wish I wrote down the settings that were shown, but it was definitely not a cathedral setting. Then there was the, oh, okay, I remember this one. This one stood out like crazy. This is the one where the bagpipe type instrument, I'm sorry, I don't know what the instrument is, but that gentleman came in and played his heart out. That one was really heavy. That was a big, chunky song. It was very different. The drums were intense. That instrument was there. The strings were hitting really hard, and they were very rhythmic. They weren't just like, they were like dun 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 dun. So the whole thing had this kind of like thunderous feel. And it made me think that has to be some sort of, obviously a conflict boss, either battle or maybe even internal conflict. It was written in a way where it didn't seem like maybe intensity in fighting, but intensity in context. So maybe like it was just a bad memory or something really negative. But it was, I was kind of like headbanging to it, but it was nice. And then around the seventh song, I wrote something that I caught onto a little later, and I was like, what language is this? I don't know. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe this studio is in Paris. So I don't know if this whole soundtrack is sung in French. I didn't look up much info, as I usually don't. But to me, it just sounded kind of like this sort of, just like choir. I can't explain it. It just sounded like choir to me. But I didn't actually think, like, are they actually saying anything? And if so, what? So I started to tune that out after a while, and I was just kind of enjoying it. For the most part, I was just kind of pretending I was in the audience, which I was in a way. I wasn't really deciphering everything. I don't always do that. It's more of just whatever comes to me as a first reaction. And to me, I was just like, man, that would be really great to be there. I was just getting flashbacks of distant worlds and how mystical that's felt. You feel these, right? Like when you go there, you feel it. You feel every little, you can feel it vibrating your whole like bloodstream. Around the ninth song, I believe. Oh, sorry, let's go to Oh, the eighth one, which is the one where they had like a setting of a beach. And I remember the drums were really intense in that one. They sounded like cannonballs or something, some gunfire, black powder or something, just boom, boom. And that one very much sounded very warlike and very like brink of death. It was intense. Around the ninth, I believe, the stringed instruments came out to play, and that's where I was like, ooh, we saw the. I don't know what those two instruments were. One, they were just types of in the lute family. We had the little small one playing the kind of lead stuff, and then we had the other one with the bent headstock backwards with the round back that was playing this kind of just like arpeggio, doom, 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 doom. But it was funny because I mentioned that you can hear the sound, you can hear and feel the sound difference on the wood type if it's a smaller instrument or the big one, and that kind of really just demonstrated that perfectly, because even though that instrument, the second instrument, the one that was playing the arpeggios, was small, it was like maybe, yay big, the back had a huge backside, and that's what made all the sound come through. And then for the final song they played, which I believe is number 10, man, this one gave me really, it was sad. There's no other way to put it. It was just really, like, intense is, I feel like I've said that a couple times and it's kind of redundant, but it felt very final moments, passing. It felt, it just felt really sad. And mind you, I do not know the story, but based on that last song, I can probably guess what happens. But I'm not gonna say it, just in case it's not true and I get to experience this one day. And if you're watching this, I would hope that, you don't spoil it in the comments just for everyone to enjoy, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I was getting that feeling big time. And normally for like a last song, it's gotta be the pinnacle. What we've worked for to get here, and then here we are. And it was just intense. Man, I keep saying that, but it was really sad. It was really sad. And not only that, is everyone was there. All the instruments were there. Everyone got to perform at that last second. And yeah. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. That was the one that gave me the most feeling out of all of them. The rest of it was just like a musical journey, right? I was just going through, and I just turned off my brain when I clicked record and just wanted to experience a nice concert that was, graciously given to me. And it's really humbling that, people value my opinion of just someone who really appreciates music, sounds, and the arts and stuff. But this is just very impressive work by everyone involved. I just want to be very clear that this is, no bias at all. I was going to be honest no matter what, because if anyone has seen my channel prior, a lot of you know this, but a lot of like orchestral stuff in video game music, you probably know where I'm going with this, but if you're new and you haven't seen, orchestral music in video games is, for me, very hit or miss. A lot of the songs that have not been in my favor on this channel have been on the orchestral side. And that's not because it's orchestral. It's not like I just ignore the genre. I love that genre. But in video games, it's 100% context-based. You need to be seeing and feeling what's happening on the screen at that moment. Because just as this as an example as well, this is no different. I won't be able to tell you what those songs sounded like a week from now. Not because they weren't memorable, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, no melodies stuck out, it was just all like a feeling. It's an ambience, it's a mood, it's a you had to be there type of thing. So when I say there's no bias, it's because I was kind of nervous. checking this out, because the most I knew is that it was an orchestral concert. I was like, oh, okay, and I've heard some good stuff, obviously, but just knowing that and me not knowing anything about the game, I was kind of nervous. But I just wanted to be transparent about that. If it was going to be not my style or anything, then I would have said something. But I can say, well, first of all, I'm very grateful for the opportunity, but I really want to be sincere. And man, honestly, if I didn't know that it was nominated for a best score, I would honestly tell you that I could see that. I wouldn't be 100% convinced, like, oh, this is soundtrack of the year type of thing. But I would feel that it would be in that realm, clearly. Like it's among the greatest of that year or something like that. It's in, you can't deny that it's in that like upper tier of composition and work ethic. So it's fitting, and good luck to them. I don't know what else to say. It was really cool. It was a very emotional journey of sounds, and it feels like I just watched a live painting with music, and says a lot. Despite the video being, here and there, it still gave off that energy. So yeah, just wanted to make sure that you guys knew this is not any sort of commercial or anything. It was just my opinion, and I like it. This, in fact, might even make me play the game, which as of now is already collecting its own backlog. And to be totally honest, I'm going to be completely exposing myself here. I have a slight fear of rodents, and from what I know about this game, it's quite literally the main theme of the game. So, but if I had to pick a reason to play it, soundtrack is up there. I feel that whatever my opinion is now today, upon completing the game, I am almost positive that the result would be a lot better, like as far as my enjoyment from it. I thoroughly enjoyed this, but I know playing it and feeling it and going through everything, I would just be floored, mesmerized, etc. I would just lose it. I could just tell. It has that magic in it. So yeah, that's my first encounter with Plague Tale Requiem. Please let me know how you guys feel about the soundtrack. Be honest. Let me know how you feel about the game. I know it's relatively new. And, as always, I'm just curious. It's like the biggest word I use on this channel is curious. How this came to be. Soundtrack, I mean, not the concert, the soundtrack, as if the story was already made and then it was given off, or if all those things. I can think of 1,000 questions, but hopefully the composers or something sees this. I have no idea, but I feel grateful for the opportunity, and I'm just gonna move on before I keep going. So quick recap. Thank you to Nicholas, Focus Entertainment, Olivier, for the composition of the game. Congratulations, it's great. And I can't imagine writing something like that. That's honestly sounds so difficult to write music like that. That's like within the soul to come up with that. And again, congrats on the nomination. Game of the Year and Best Score and Music. No small feat. Whew. Hour-long episode. I haven't done that in ever? I don't think I've ever done that. I've come close, but yeah. So let me know what you guys think. And I feel like I have to go walk just to kind of brighten my mood up or something. But yeah, that was just, it's intense, and they're staring at me too. Anyways, if you want to make a request as well, you can do so on Patreon or PayPal. Either are totally fine. If you do not mind waiting, there is the platinum tier on Patreon, which I provide, which expedites your request to the very top. There is a lot of requests for me, and I'm only one person. So a big thank you to my current supporters of that. That is Justin, Kevin, Patrick, Your Average Metalhead, Shadow Maxim, Vanadel, and Turn Arclight. Thank you again to Focus Entertainment. I feel very honored to be a part of it. And who knows, maybe more developers will start reaching out and I can start checking out their soundtracks personally. That's cool for me. And the audience too. I think the audience is pretty relevant to your product. Anyways, until next time, dudes and dudettes, my name is Jesse in the auditorium. I hope you had fun. I sure did. Take it easy.